Jaws, the 1975 classic, is currently re-released in theaters nationwide for a limited time, even being shown in IMAX. If you've never seen it, you've picked the perfect time to wake up from your nearly 50-year coma. It's an impeccable piece of film history that did for the ocean what Psycho did for showers, or what Friday the 13th did for the woods, or what Goodfellas did for Italian restaurants, or what The Godfather did for Italian restaurants, or what the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford did for assassinations, and cowards. Hello and welcome to the Martini Shot. My name is Brandon, and today I will be reviewing the classic 1975 thriller Jaws. But before I do that, there's blood in the water, and we're gonna drink it thanks to this variation on a past cocktail I've named Blood in the Water. So this is a first. I'm gonna be reviewing a film I've already reviewed. Why am I doing this? Well, like I said, Jaws has been re-released in theaters recently, so I'd say the relevance is pretty strong. Plus, I reviewed Jaws all the way back in my first year of doing the Martini Shot. But it was just a written review on my blog, so in the event that illiteracy runs rampant on YouTube, which is highly possible, I figured I would give it a quick spoken word review on why this film is regarded as one of the all-time greats. But we need a drink, and I did make a shark bite back in the day, but I think we can take it one step higher with a version 2. For this version, I'm going to be tweaking it just a tad, bringing a greater spectrum of flavors into the mix. I'm introducing coconut rum to make it a bit more tropical, some hypnotic to add some additional fruit flavors, and a float of slow gin to bring the blood to the top of the drink as much as the grenadine brings to the bottom. This drink is sour, fruity, and above all, boozy. Too many of these and you might find yourself requiring a bit of the hair of the dog that bit you in the morning. Or the scales of the shark that... Never mind, let's just make the drink. All right, this drink has a lot of moving parts to it, so let's go ahead and start with our base alcohol, and that's going to be our rums. We're going to be using 2 different types of rum, starting with our coconut rum. We are going to do 1 ounce. Next, we are going to be doing 1 ounce of a dark rum. I am going with my favorite dark rum, Plantation 5 Year. It's a Barbados rum that has a lot of flavor notes of vanilla and caramel in it, and we're going to be doing 1 ounce as well. Next, we're going to be doing some hypnotic. This is going to add a bit more fruit flavor as well with some of the mango and citrus that's in this. Plus it's blue, which is kind of what we're leaning towards for our color palette, so that helps out also. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of the hypnotic. Now, I wish we could just get away with using the hypnotic for the color. Unfortunately, it's not as strong of a blue as blue curacao. So even though I've said I was gonna try to not use it as much, we're back at it again. We're gonna be doing just 1/2 ounce of the blue curacao. Next, we're gonna be bringing a bit of sourness and citrus into the mix with 1/2 ounce of lime juice and also another 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. All right, that's everything that we're going to mix together, so let's throw some ice in here and shake to chill. Now, before we pour it into a glass, we need to prepare our glass, so we're gonna be using a rocks glass for this. And before we get some ice in there, we are going to do a small little layer of grenadine. All right, now we can throw some ice in there. And now we strain. And now we are going to add 1 more layer of blood floating on top that's slowly going to seep in and start to change the color of the drink. And we are going to be using slow gin for that. If you don't know what slow gin is, it's essentially just gin that's been soaked with a mixture of fruits and berries, going to give a lot of grape or pear, plum flavors in it. And it's just going to bring a whole new kind of flavor to the drink. If you've had a shark bite before, like the one I've made in the past, this will definitely bring in a bit more of a floral note than you're used to, but I think it's very welcome. You won't need too much, just about 1/2 ounce. The drink itself is made, but now we're going to be needing a garnish, and I thought it would be perfect if we had the little gummy sharks. And why not? Let's just go ahead and also throw an umbrella on there too. All right, now you have your blood in the water. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Yeah, so because that slow gin was floated on top, the first thing you taste is a little bit of fruit and herbs. Not too overpowering where it kind of throws off the central idea of the drink though. Because right after that, you definitely get the rum. You get both the coconut and the dark or gold rum, whatever you're using. The coconut, very flavorful, very nice pairing alongside those other fruit flavors. You get a little bit of that hypnotic in there as well. You definitely get a sense of citrus and orange. And then as it kind of finishes in your mouth, it moves into more of a lemony and lime type flavor. You kind of get that sourness, the tartness from both of those, and it really just kind of gives it a nice candy kind of mouthfeel. It's not overly sweet though. I know with the grenadine being down there, it will eventually get sweeter the more you drink it. But from first sip and for your next couple sips, it's gonna be nice and balanced. Not too overly sweet, not too candy-like, but still kind of maintains a lot of those flavors. So similar to how the Bloody Shark Bite I made 2 years ago, it is tropical, it's fruity, it's very easy to drink, very approachable, and it's a lot of fun to look at. Now that we have our drink, let's dive straight into the review of Jaws. Am I breaking new ground by saying that Jaws is a near perfect movie? Of course not. But I've noticed many people have a general understanding that it's a classic without really knowing why. But after revisiting the film on the big screen, I think I can grasp what electrified people not only today, but all those decades ago. Owning perhaps the most recognizable riff of music to come from a scary movie alongside Halloween synth and Friday the 13th shushing, Jaws was a landmark piece of cinema that forever changed the game. Practically birthing the concept of a summer blockbuster, Steven Spielberg's adaptation of a best-selling novel became the highest-grossing film ever at the time, and made the concept of taking a refreshing dip in the ocean scarier than it may have any right to be. To this day, I and so many adults continue to share this fear, so I'd say that makes it pretty influential. There's a lot of debate and discrepancy over whether or not this film can be considered a horror movie. While it can be argued this film dwells closer to the thriller, even action genre, I think the impact it had on pop culture is borderline terrifying. Doing so much with so little thanks to expert directing, smart use of camera work, a spine-tingling score, and a masterful manipulation of dread using a shark that barely has any screen time. Even though the killing machine is the star, the cast is so damn strong and entertaining that they shouldn't be overlooked. Roy Scheider portrays Martin Brody, our comrade against capitalism, who tries to do the right thing while the town continues to make decisions driven by profit. He's easy to get behind and serves as a suitable straight man for the audience to connect to. Richard Dreyfuss plays Matt Hopper, a marine biologist that sticks out like a sore thumb in the small town, and is perhaps the only one who understands how serious of a threat the town has on its hands. Finally, Robert Shaw plays Quint, a professional shark hunter that makes it his mission to kill the great white almost personal after his own run-in with sharks. He's superstitious, stubborn, and ready to beat a shark to death with his bare hands. The trio create a simple but effective conglomeration of competing ideas and tactics, making their journey towards becoming a competent crew all the more compelling. They're all well and good, but what about old Bruce, the guy on the poster? The terror of the beast comes from not what it looks like, but when you know it's there but you can't see it. The shark's POV shots under the water, gazing up at the legs of unsuspecting swimmers, instills more than enough dread without flashing a fin. When we do see the shark, it's all the more impactful and can catch us off guard when we've gotten too comfortable. The climax really showcases the shark in all of its bloody, toothy glory, which does demystify the beast a bit. For the time, I'm sure it was terrifying, but rewatching now when animatronics and special effects have come a long way, it can be a bit silly. While this may diminish the scariness a bit, the entertainment value still remains fairly high, and honestly, I commend them for putting up with that mechanical bastard and somehow keeping the creature fairly believable. Personally, I'm not sure if this is a hot take, but I found the first half of the film to be the most enjoyable. The town tries to figure out what's going on while the number of people getting eaten begins to increase. Those in charge attempt to downplay and discourage the chief's attempts to rightfully instill fear in the townsfolk. Watching the conflict of a few good men trying to do the right thing against the monetarily charged wishes of the town's leaders was the most engaging part of the story for me. When Brody, Hooper, and Quint finally set out on the boat, we finally get to see the humans fight back against that innocent, hungry shark. While you get more action in the second half, it can get a little repetitive at times and the conflict gets a little bit simpler. The climax, however, is quite a ride with several tense moments and some pretty bloody scenes that still manage to be pretty shocking. The film essentially shifts from a thriller to an action movie by the second half, but Bruce proves himself to be an effective slasher villain despite a relatively small body count. Whether you choose to view the film as a metaphor for how the sins of capitalism may eventually drive us to a totally avoidable grave, or the tale of a bunch of assholes hunting a fish that simply was a little hungry, Jaws is the quintessential summer blockbuster by every means of the definition. Thrilling, funny, scary, it has it all, heightened by the masterful touches of one of the greatest directors the world has ever seen. Whether you've seen the film or not, take the opportunity to see it in theaters to be transported back to a simpler time. It's a hell of an experience. For my rating, I'm giving this film 4.5 shark teeth out of 5. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Martini Shot. It was cool to revisit Jaws again, and I've actually been thinking about doing this for some other past reviews so I can gush about my favorite movies and approve on some of my older cocktails. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. As always, if you like what you saw here and would like to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on my social media. Those links are down in the description. And for more movie reviews and movie-themed cocktails, be sure to check out my website, martinishot.blog. Until next time, thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Live deliciously, but please remember to drink responsibly. Thank you.